What is up? How we doing, guys? Welcome back. What are we doing? Yo, Lux, are you sure your indicators don't repaint? I am 1,000,000,000% sure. I can promise you. You want me to explain what repainting is? I can. If you want to ask a question about how or why you think they repaint, I'm happy to answer. Gonna do a lot of crypto today. Why that happened. We ready to go here in about 50 seconds, baby. Let's get it. Got a lot to go over. Crypto bouncing. Crypto bounce mega. I love it. Can't go wrong. Yo, Abo, how you doing, man? Kanzi, welcome back. Appreciate you. Do you play Marvel Snap? To be honest, I don't know what that is. Happy to check it out, though. Like some exiting time? Could be. Maybe not. Maybe it is. Let's dive in and see, baby. Let's dive in and see. What could it be? That's the real question. Dude, that song literally lasts like the perfect amount of time for the intro. Honestly, it's like the perfect amount of time. Real quick. All right. What's up, everybody? What is up? How y'all feeling? Good to see you like always. Welcome back to the Luxaga live stream. My name is Jacob, aka Mr. Indicator. We're going to bring in some more. We need to bring in a lot more Twitter stuff, for sure. A lot of Twitter stuff. Because we've been absolutely, completely making insane trades on Twitter, insane calls, especially on Bitcoin. If you saw our last night call out, which granted it was kind of later last night, but I have all these alerts set up now where it's just like it freaking has been going off a ton now, which is awesome. Some really clean setups here on Bitcoin. We had a massive 15-minute bearish gap divergence last night on Bitcoin. We rallied obviously into today, but I'm going to show you. We've been talking about gap divergence here over and over here on the oscillator matrix and how effective it can be if used properly. And it ran for a 5-to-1 move. It was about 1.3%, and we'll go over that here in just a second. But crazy moves, Bitcoin bounce. Obviously, the divergence really just came from that overall bounce that we had. Let's turn the laser off. But lots to go over here on the crypto charts. But yeah, there you go. So last night I pinged you guys, if you're following me on Twitter at IndicatorsWork, or X now is what it's called. I pinged you guys saying, we had a 15-minute gap divergence. Again, it was 15 minutes. So when there's a 15-minute chart actually showing it, obviously you're not looking for a super long-term move. But we did get a mega reaction to this, which was awesome. Great risk to reward. It was a 0.3% risk. Ended up running, I think, 1.3%. But you can see here, this was the overall move that it ended up having. Pretty much called the exact top for almost 6-to-1 ratio, $1,100 move off of that gap divergence, something that we've gone over here on stream 8 million times. So another insane reason to be like, be on the lookout for that gap divergence. You can't go wrong. And divergence in general is just incredible, but when it's gap divergence like that, I mean, you can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong. Today was an interesting day in the U.S. market, very choppy. Finally sold off. So we started out at the month pretty good here. Today's been very back and forth for me on the futures trading side, but today we're talking about crypto, guys. Come on. We got a nice bounce back to 63K. Where are we going to head from here? That's the overall question as we're going into the election, right? This week, though, real quick, before we touch into more of the charts, I do want to go to the news, right? So today, nothing major. Now, if you're in any market, make sure you're paying attention to the news. I don't care if it's crypto or not, or some other random market. Always pay attention to the news regardless if it's anything too crazy. But this Wednesday, we have FOMC at 2 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you're up to date with what's going on by just following us on the Lux Algo, what's it called? Sorry, I'm making sure something happens. You follow the Lux Algo Twitter at Lux Algo or X at Lux Algo. We're getting into close here, so sorry, I'm watching some stuff. But yep, Thursday we have jobless claims. We have CPI inflation data as well at 8:30, and then we have some interesting events this week. Actually, we have the Amazon 2-day Prime event starting on Tuesday, and then we have the Tesla Robotaxi event at 10 p.m. Which is going to be an interesting thing. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but PPI inflation data as well on Friday at 8:30. So if you want to be up to date, make sure you go follow us on Twitter at LuxAlgo or X at LuxAlgo. And then, again, I put this on my personal profile every morning, giving you guys what's going to happen for that day. So make sure you are following me as well if you want to see that update. Otherwise, you can go to my page and then click the one I posted today, and it pretty much will tell you exactly what you need to know. But that is pretty much it on the news front, my friends. Bitcoin today going up into that high volume node. I'm going to drop this down for a second. Yep, Bitcoin going into that high volume node here on the daily time frame and starting to reject, which is not a great time. What we're also seeing here is on that daily, and again, excuse me if I cough every once in a while. I'm still getting over that cough that I've been having. But you can notice the oscillator sadly has broken down this 50 level here, which I'm not a huge fan of, because if we do get a bearish day, again, you're going to get a lower high after breaking that bearish structure, which could actually send us lower. So the sentiment isn't super bullish right now, but it isn't, what do you want to call it, super bearish either. We need to see some bearish reaction before we even consider anything to be bullish or bearish, in my opinion. But we'll kind of wait and see accordingly. Sorry, I'm watching right now, by the way. NQ off those lows, hold on, is absolutely ripping right now into close here. Just going to see what it does on this gap. So maybe we watch that for a second. Been watching on the other side. But anyone got a good chandelier. But what's up, everybody? Hopefully you guys have had a pretty decent weekend. Not a bad football weekend for my U.S. folks. Hopefully your teams didn't end up losing. I don't know who you guys root for, but we had our first London game. That was interesting. So those of you that are actually in the UK, hopefully you got to experience that. If not, consider going to one. It's a lot of fun. Go Lions, big brain, dude. That's awesome. I honestly hope the Lions can make it to Super Bowl soon. They should have last year. That championship game was not great. It should have been an easy dub for them last year, but that's okay. They're looking so good. It's time. It's time. Just some mild heart failure. What? What do you mean? You good, Tonzi? You good? Man said 10 indicators. Bro, I only had like 3 on. Look at you in here judging me for indicators when we're the #1 provider of indicators on the entire TradingView platform. I don't know what you're doing, brother. I can have 10 on there if I want. Half of these I don't even use. There you go. Is that better? Does 8 work for you? Are you going to consider volume an indicator, jackass? Just saying. I'm playing with you. Either way. Man, this is one of my favorite setups, by the way. We have a bounce off of a reversal zone and a order block here on the 5-minute. Obviously, we just ran it. We're going into close right now. We're bouncing off of this. So I would want to see if we can, make this full push here. Tomorrow, we are going to be live on here trading the NQ futures live, so be ready for that. We've been going over that gap divergence a lot. We had 2 signals today, one on crude oil, which ended up failing. But again, I showcased that there are some things that I'll tell you if you have high risk or not. And for crude oil, that definitely was that we had the overflow on the oscillator matrix on the money flow side. But yeah, you just have to go about the context of what you're seeing, right? That's the biggest thing. Having that context is pretty key to realizing whether or not you think, it is a good setup or not. In this case, we were in the reversal zone. Oil all day long was absolutely ripping, right? So it ended up being, more so of a continuation of this trend versus a, actual bearish setup. We like to see that consolidation kind of play out and then essentially make a clean bearish structure break to the downside for that actual bearish divergence to play. So it's a little bit different on Bitcoin. Obviously, like we said earlier, when we see that gap divergence, we want it to be as clean as this. If I can find it, yeah. Here. So essentially, it being as extended as it was, it had a slight downtrend on the oscillator, bounced off that low, made a lower high, and then broke it, and then broke this lower high. So it was one of those things that ended up breaking, that higher low there to the downside versus when you saw it on crude oil here. It didn't have anywhere in the middle here that had a higher low or anything. So there's no structure there. There's that higher low that it ended up setting right there. So it was interesting. Quite an interesting little move there for crude oil, but it didn't end up making that big of a adjustment. So it's all good, man. It all comes down to the context, right? But man, yeah, wow. This is a crazy volatile close here on the NQ. I wonder where it's going to end up heading here in a minute. But overall, not a bad day. I mean, it did come down from its high on the NQ from yesterday, from Friday's move. It just pretty much retested Friday's low. Now it's trying to potentially bounce back. We'll see how it does after hours. But that being said, we're mostly here for crypto. So let's go back to Bitcoin, get into the full chart here, and then we will get dialed on where we think it's going to head. Obviously, we have been big on seeing if Bitcoin can get that same election run that it had in 2020. That's been the biggest thing. Let me turn the music down. 1 second. The election run has been the true question. The true question. All right. So, it's good to hear, Tanzi. I'm glad you're okay. So as we can see here on Bitcoin, we have now pulled into that high volume node, pretty much been the middle of this overall range. Now, forgot, let me go ahead and adjust this. Now, this is something I explained to somebody already with the money flow profile, something you need to keep note. If you see that we're in a range like this and the profile, let's say its default's 200 bars. So if the profile doesn't line up with that full range, it's always good to just adjust it a bit to make sure you get the data for that full range. That's really only when it's in a range, right? So in this case, you'll see it's still there. The volume's still there, which is good. So from here, I would like to see if we can get a full continuation back to this high. But the biggest thing we were talking about was on the monthly, right? And we go over this every week because it's super important. We have this, September election, or sorry, the September before the last election in 2020. That October had again, October, right? This September for us actually did really well. That last October had a 29% run on Bitcoin. So, and that was in 2020. Now, that obviously Trump didn't get elected there. He was coming out of office. But the election didn't fully finish until, obviously, November. So by the time the election was done, obviously this was after the halving, it was already up 88%, which is crazy. But as we can see here, October's already had its full downside move, which is a good sign. Usually, when you get a potential candle continuation, if you want to say, you want to see it move in the opposite direction first before it moves in the direction you want it to move. So in this case, after this candle closed, if I wanted this candle to potentially pump higher, it is somewhat a good sign that the candle starts and goes lower first before it goes higher, because you want to make sure you initiate the upper and lower wick. You know, sometimes it might be a tiny wick, sometimes it might be a long wick, but whenever you see price move to let's say if you want it to go up, move down first, it's usually a pretty good sign. So this is a good sign already for this monthly, starting where it's at. I would really want to see here on the weekly chart if, again, we don't really have a lower wick on the weekly, but if it can just hold up above last week's low there. So last week's low is 59,824. Obviously, it's got plenty of room to potentially bounce within that. But like we said there on the daily, there's a little bit of a bearish stance that we could potentially go for, because it just broke a higher low and it's showing a little bit of bearish structure, but it hasn't fully played out yet. So that's what we're really keeping an eye on. Twitter is LuxAlgo, at LuxAlgo. My personal one is at Indicators Work. Right here, at Indicators Work. Because again, if you think indicators don't work, you're probably using them wrong. Okay. So in this case, as you can see, we have followed the upside trend here on Bitcoin weekly. But also, we have a downside trend, which means we could potentially have a major weekly bull flag. And it's something we've been watching for weeks on weeks. We continue to potentially make that breakdown. Didn't happen, and it ends up getting bought back up almost every time. Now, if you know, we have discussed how on the breaker blocks, we do have a breaker still sitting here between 48K and 45K. So seeing both of that happen, and we haven't fully tested that. If for some reason we were to have a downside move, that was, non-election related, let's say, we go into war times or something, that would be my first target to that downside. Now, I'm not going to fully say that's going to happen. I do like the current potential election cycle to happen again based on how last month performed. So I'm really, really liking this upside potential. But again, let's dive into these lower time frames now, see what we might do over the next few days, which is the concerning part. So on the weekly here, if we look at last week's low, which I want to map out here. Let's do shift, get that low. There you go. That's last week's low, right? That's last week's low. So if we go to the daily now, let me look at this daily time frame. We see last week's lows right here. So in this case, though, for now, as you can see here, this current swing structure lines up 50, 61, and 70% have all almost touched today. That went inside a bearish imbalance on the daily. So seeing it go inside that bearish imbalance on the daily, if today kind of closes below that 50% level at 63.2929, we could essentially have a little bit more bearish stance on this kind of, let's just say, retrace, because we did just break this previous daily higher low and at a very aggressive rate, and then now we're retesting it and creating a very large upper wick. So with that large upper wick, that's usually not a good sign that this thing actually wants to continue higher, unless a following candle like tomorrow actually goes up and takes out today's candle high and closes over that high. That's what I would want to see tomorrow. Now, we do have 3 hours and 57 minutes, so there is time here on this daily candle. I would like it to close up higher, somewhere around 64K would actually be the best. But if for some reason it doesn't, tomorrow we really need a full-bodied candle like that to close over the previous day's high, which would be today. So we need to get that full closure over 64,467, and then I'd be a little bit more confident on this thing potentially actually retesting this high. But if this wick actually ends up being that aggressive, more than likely we would have a down day tomorrow, maybe retesting like 62.8 or even like 62 62 on the money if it was, that aggressive. We could maybe give it a little bit more, maybe like $1,000 drop, which would be 62,300-ish if it closes where it's at today. So that is a, decent potential there. Obviously, this would be a nice little, little retrace like that, which would make a lot of sense. Oscillator is sitting below the 50 line here. So again, it would set that lower high there, which would make a lot of sense as well, because it would be below the 50. So I don't know. That's going to be an interesting day going into tomorrow after this daily closes. We do still have 4 hours, but we are still inside this high volume node. So us being still inside this node is a good sign here on Bitcoin, being inside this node here, which is these yellow bars. I'm going to go ahead and take off the let's take our price action concepts for now. Being inside that node is always a good sign. Usually, obviously, when you're in a range, when you're in a range, you find that value area high and low, and you can usually, pinpoint where you would trade between those, and you do here. So in that case, that's where I would want to see is potential continuation in there. If it does make a retrace, at least test like value area low, which is like, in this current range, I'm not going to say this is perfectly exact, but in this current range that it has calculated, the low of that majority volume is 61,137. So it's right around 61K. So I'd want to see if we can potentially hold that if we were to come back to the slow. So let's hold within this range. I like being back in here because then we have a plethora of both sides playing rather than just a single side. But I will say daily price action is quite bearish. So it's kind of a matter of waiting. It's a big waiting game here. We did just reject that bearish imbalance as well. And we'll see if we can potentially break out and continue from here. So not too bad. Not too bad. That being said, let's dive into that 4-hour chart here on Bitcoin and see where we might head. The nice part is on the 4-hour, we are holding a very nice upwards trend, which I like a lot. So this holding where it's at right now, all we need to see is it hold these highs. So if this high here at 62,382, again, 1K drop, doesn't end up holding, that structure would probably end up sending us back into this area. What's nice is we did extend into this lower reversal zone, had 2 sets of divergences. Again, this was not gap divergence because there wasn't a gap there. This is gap. When gap divergence occurs like this, where there's an actual gap between, there you go. This is a great sign of, if I were to do, let me do text. This is what I was talking about, gap versus not gap. No gap. That works. So there you go. This is no gap here. And this is gap here. See how there's a gap there? That's when it's key. Look what happened when we had this gap divergence. Again, this is on the 4-hour. I think we went over this last week. When we had the actual gap divergence here, it signaled on this, actually, I'm going to signal on this candle. No, wherever that dot is. Signal on that dot, which is this candle right here. You pretty much had a massive mover. Your highest risk to your highest reward was 8%, almost 9% move, 7-1 there with a 1% stop at the highs for the 4-hour chart, which is pretty aggressive. So seeing that play out, we don't have gap divergence at the low, so it could be a nice little retrace. Still, divergence played quite nicely off that high volume node again. It comes down to your sentiment there. So sentiment overall there was very clean, and we're continuing to hold this current slope. So what do you think about the slope of the gap line? Better when there is a slope. Again, I don't think it's a slope. I don't think the slope is an issue. I mean, I do think if it's like it comes down to context. You want some type of slope in it, right? Like in this case, you want like this has slope here, right? This comes up, this is a very small gap. There is a gap there, but again, where's the context here? Are we at, when this divergence happened, did we break an order block? I would have to go back and see, are we at an order block? Did we break an order block? We're inside an order block here, right, on this one, all right? This one did bounce off an order block, which is actually quite interesting. So, for me, I day trade when it comes to these gap divergences. I don't really hold long trades on these, but you can if it sets up. So in this case, I think you would have hit 1-to-1 on this one here. But it comes down to context. The biggest thing for me is seeing if, the oscillator itself, does the oscillator itself also line up with price inside a reversal zone. That's probably my favorite setup overall. Both of those are ideas that price is extended. In this case, you'll see it doesn't even tag a reversal zone. So you could consider a much smaller trade. But I always take profit at 1-to-1. So in the initial risk, this would have been that 1-to-1 there. See, that would have hit just fine. And then the minute I hit 1-to-1 on any trade, guys, I put my stop at break even for the last half. So I take off 50% at 1-to-1, and then I put the last at break even. So again, that would have been a nice little 1/2 trade there for 1-to-1. But it signaled again there. And sometimes if it doubles up, I'll think about it. But the biggest thing is you want to see if the market actually shows that it's extended the same. So in this case, this was way more extended, even though it wasn't gap divergence. That would have been a better one, in my opinion, than this one. But in this case, it went inside the reversal zone up here, right? And then it ended up pushing even higher, touching the reversal zone again, making it a way more deserved gap. Again, this one barely touched this reversal zone here, and it didn't even touch it. I mean, it tagged it with a wick. These has candle closes inside those upper bands, so it's a much better reaction. And then when the money flow flips bearish, it just comes down to context. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that, Brad. But for now, the slope's really clean here on the money flow, and we continue to hold that slope. So if it were to hold this 62.357, like I said on the daily, it would have been really, on the 4 hour here, would be really clean. We're in that high volume node right now, and it happens to also be, that 50%, 618% retracement. This is why I'm not and also mega high bearish volume here before has always been the bears that have taken this level. This is where I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably not going to be bullish until this thing gets actually taken out. So we need to really get a very lovely candle close above this, probably lower high here. Because of this money flow profile sitting right here at its peak volume. That's kind of rough. So if we can close up over this high 64.106 on the 4 hour, then I'll be much more bullish for a run up to like 66K. And then that's when we'll start talking like potential, breakouts finally. Let's pray that happens at some point. So super clean. In this case, though, not too shabby. I would like to now see... Let me see here. I really want to see Solana. Solana. All right. So Solana is probably the craziest, right? Because guess what? Solana, if we look at the daily chart, bounced exactly off what? This line that we have here, right? What is this line? What is this plotted line here? I gotta remember which one is it. There you go. All right, so what is this plotted line right here? This 13650, right? I mean, come on.
Who's your daddy?
Now, we've had this, if you've been on this stream long enough, we've had this line plotted for months, forever. Every single time it's touched it, that's always been a buy for me. But it really comes down to the fact that price, when it first broke that 137 line, it came down on the weekly, bounced directly off it, made its rally to its all-time high. Price then comes down, bounces off it again when it touches it, then flushes it. But this is the most significant. Price runs up, creates a open close high perfectly off of that. It's been support, it's been resistance, like almost exact resistance. Then dives down to its lowest price that it's ever had, which is like $8, which is crazy. So at its lowest price, and then it makes its rally back up. So this again. That level there, the 136, which, again, weekly breaks back through it, right? Rejects it first that 1 week, breaks back through it, rests on 136, goes up, hits 174 again, and then starts trading through it for once, but rests again. And no matter what, though, because it is a weekly time frame, because it is a weekly level, I am going to have it plotted regardless. So this, again, holding perfectly off of that, makes its run back to 52, which is really nice. Mega sell-off, but held just fine off 136. Makes a nice run. Obviously, you guys know we've been buying 120s for 121s for a while. All right, I'm gonna keep like itching my nose, so I need to blow my nose. 1 second. Let's drive me nuts. Every time. We're back. Okay, now, so for Solana, that 136.50 bounces quite nicely. But again, there's that beautiful gap divergence there that you see that played out nicely. And again, there's another example, Brad. It's like this signaled a gap divergence after it tagged a key level like 121. So, just have that context. That's the biggest thing. Context is everything. So in this case, making its move off 136.5. Very clean, though. It still has broken that higher low structure here on the daily. But let's look at the 4 hour. This 4 hour actually has taken out that previous lower high. So that's a good sign. This is a very nice potential V bounce where it's at. So in this case here, if it does break its current slope that it's in, which this is a very, very aggressive slope, it's fine. From its current swing state, 50% lines up right at the 140s again. Right where we've bounced before. This is that was a bull flag that ran last time. So I'd be watching the low 40s here on Solana, see if it can retrace. If it does, unless it holds its slope, see if it retraces right back into these highs and its high volume node right here at roughly the 143, which again has been very significant on the buy side. So it's a good sign here on Solana. You can see the reversal bands this lower one's starting to turn back up, which is good too, indicating that price is potentially ready to rally again. On the weekly, though, similar situation. This thing has started and has pretty much got bought up a bit. Usually, like I said earlier with that monthly candle, it getting bought up a bit usually isn't a great sign that you might see a lower move, which is fine. We talked about going to the low 40s, like 142, 140 maybe. Obviously, if for some reason it breaks the 140, we're going to go right to 137 again. That's always going to be my idea here. Dude, why? Like, I can just feel it tickling me. It's driving me nuts. So 137 would be the next one. So if it breaks that 140 or lower. But overall, this range has been insane on Solana. It's been great. I would want it to continue to trade in this range. Hopefully we don't break it to the downside. Only the upside would be great. If it does break it to the downside, we'll be ready. We'll be watching these lower bounces, and then obviously the around the $100 mark. But I really don't think it's going to hit the $100 mark. I think we could see like 250 before we ever saw that again, or if we even see that, which would be nuts. But that's pretty much Solana. Is that the 4 hour? Let's go to the monthly. I've never looked at a monthly Solana chart. I don't think, not here on stream at least. Wow, monthly's bouncing off the 136 as well. And the 140, 136.7. Man, it's just, it hasn't been around that long, so like the monthly doesn't really matter. What's crazy though is this, guys, crude oil right now. I just clicked on that chart. This thing on the daily has just been absolutely ripping. It's been nuts. Today, another $3. That's crazy. Another $3 today. But yeah, Solana. Let's just see if it can today itself. For Solana, I hate this candle so far. Let's go to like a 1 hour chart and see. Yeah, 1 hour is pretty bearish here. Just broke its structure down here. Gosh, dude, this divergence is crazy. There's a gap right here. See, significant price action between signals, right? Which means mega rally inside reversal zone. Tag reversal zone. This is probably A+. This is A+ gap divergence because it's inside the reversal zone 3 times here. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Welcome. It's inside the reversal zone 3 times. Reversal zone's key on this gap divergence. They got gap divergence there, signaled on this candle here. He had a nice little downside move so far. See if it goes and retest the other side. Let's go look at gold, probably. Look at gold real quick. Gold's been in a weird spot. It's had several days with crazy wicks. Bull flag potential formation. Something's really tickling my nose today, guys. I'm so sorry. This is literally the worst feeling ever. I hate it. I literally hate it. Like, I don't even. It's like when I talk, it just itches. It's not even like I'm stuffed up or anything. It's just like a weird. When you like Like you can't stop sneezing. Like I'm glad I'm not sneezing. That would be worse. It feels like that. It's like there's something there that's just like driving you nuts and it just bugging you. This could be a bull flag here. I do on these signals and overlays want to see the smart trail. Let's see. Smart trail's way off. So smart trail, this thing's been rallying so hard off the smart trail. Let's see. Maybe if I just leave my finger on there like this. Look like an idiot. Then Neo Cloud, again, this is our number one long-term trend, what's it called? Indicator. So if price is continually trading above a Neo, it's usually in a very bullish state. And it just like, as you can see, it's just non-stop ripping above these highs. So not bad. Not bad. Zam said, if you're making so much with trading, why is your cost of your subscription so high? First of all, it's not my subscription. I didn't create these indicators. I was a user that got upgraded. Now I'm kidding. No, I actually was an original user. That's how I found Luxago right when they first started. Just learning how to trade myself, and I ended up being an affiliate and then got really good using the indicators, and like I've used them every day since because that's what I use to trade. But again, man, it's not. So people always ask that. They're like, no, if you have an indicator that's an algo, dude, why would you sell it? You could just use it and make a bunch of money, right? There's no reason to sell it. Again, this has to do with the work that's put in for our developers. You're paying the developers for this masterpiece of an indicator that was created. They might not even be traders. Now, obviously, you have to have some market sense or, some, overall, idea of the trading side. But a lot of them don't even day trade or, trade in general. They just invest in the market or whatever. But their hard work in developing these, coming up with the code that it takes to create something to help you become a profitable trader is what you pay for. You're paying for their hard work. To make it easy on you. That's the biggest thing that I think people don't understand is indicators in general. Like I can go in here and I can pull up, our backtesting system. I can create a profitable system pretty quickly with our backtesting system. I can see, like if I can just pull it up on like let's just do like Ethereum, right? Let's do Ethereum on the daily. Pull up our signals and overlays backtesting system, right? Boom. All right. So as you can see here, this has had a 78% win rate, net profit, and only 10% drawdown, right? It's made 78, like if it just traded one Ethereum or two Ethereum. It's it's made $7,000 and it's only had a drawdown of 10%, so it's made 78. So 2.23 profit factor, which is pretty awesome here. So this took a lot of work for them to build something like this. Now what you can do is you can come in here and customize the perfect trading strategy for yourself. You can develop it. Now, I'm not saying we have the secret sauce here and we know exactly what works here on Ethereum because this is only back tested from, let's see. I mean, this is a pretty actually decent back test. This is from 2019, right? So the market's going to change a lot. So you have to update your system for current market conditions, volatility, stuff like that. But again, this at least gives you the tool to create that profitable system. So again, it's a tool. You don't just like get a free, pool in your backyard because you want a pool, right? But somebody that knows how to make pools isn't just like saying, hey, I'm going to make these pools myself because I don't need to sell my pools because like I already know and I only need one pool, It's like they have the skill set to create pools and like environments for anybody. So we're starting to work with creators now to create indicators for people that have systems that are profitable to help their viewers. Dude, I might have to end this stream early. I don't know what's going on with my nose. It's driving me nuts. Like y'all got to give me a second. I'm about to cut my nose off. Something's like, I don't know if it's my dogs or what, but yeah, I'm literally, this is just so annoying. Gosh. The dang season change. Okay. Golly, bro. This is just literally the worst. Okay. Can I breathe? I can breathe fine. I'm literally just sitting there going like this on my nose. Just to itch it. Like, come on. This is so annoying. Alright. Pray for me. And my nose. Oh, man. Get rid of that. But again, yeah, it's coming down to, you're paying someone that for pretty much a skill set. Now we're working with a bunch of creators now to create indicators around, let's just say they have a system that's profitable and they want to make it easy for their viewers or their users to follow their, strategy rather than understanding the strategy and studying the strategy forever. They can have an indicator that helps them learn faster and potentially find a profitable system for themselves. That's the biggest thing in the market is you got to find your specific trading system, method, whatever you want to call it. There's a million names for it now that works for you. And that's why we provide toolkits, is because everybody's different. Day traders aren't going to use the same strategy as swing traders because their risk is much different, right? Like in my case, I used to, I look at the 2 minute throughout the day, but I'll do 5 minute to 15 minute, and that's much different. Like our analysis on the NQ this morning, much different than somebody that maybe trades the 1 minute, right, or the 1 hour. Also, gap divergence on the NQ, 15 minute, big gap. This one's a little interesting. Let's see if it plays out. All right. We're going to be on a little bit longer. So long as my nose cooperates. It's so annoying. It's just when I talk, it just, I can feel it. I need to take allergy medicine. NVIDIA, man. This thing today went nuts. Which is interesting because then you had Amazon that gap down, which is really annoying. You're a swing trader, so 4 hour for you. Yeah, man. So there's different features you could use to implement you being a swing trader, right? So it's not. There's a lot of the things I use you can use on any time frame for sure, but in this current spot, in this current time frame on the 4 hour, there's certain things that you're probably gonna want to avoid using. So it just comes down to figuring out what works for you. Let's go into Ethereum though. Speaking of Ethereum. Take off the Neo Cloud. Oh my gosh. I just want to. These dang allergies. Alright. Ethereum, like always, it always leads to the downside. Upside, it's always it lags to the upside, leads to the downside. So, in this current state that we're in, we have no, we didn't fully enter that imbalance. But, we've discussed how this current move here is now guess what? Tag the 50% retracement on the current daily swing. Tagged it today. And it's still trading. Now, literally to a T, inside that imbalance on the daily. Daily imbalance got touched. Odds for it to go lower, obviously, are much higher right now, in my opinion. You have broke below the 50 as well. I would want to target this high volume node down here again, which would be pretty key. That would be between 23.38 down to 22.61. Yo, Adam, what's up? I have price action concepts for a start, and I love it. Yeah, man. Again, the best part about price action concepts, you can create complex alert systems to keep you up like keep you updated in real time without you having to watch charts all day. That's my favorite thing ever. So like I have that for the divergences. Like you can even just see that all I have it on is 5 minute for the divergences, on the 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour for each asset that I enjoy trading. So when that triggers, I go and look at it, and then we go from there. So that's really nice to have. I don't have to sit here and look at my chart. Do I have a setup doc for the divergence? No, it's already on your chart. All you got to do is this. Watch, bam. You go indicators, oscillator, matrix, oscillator matrix. Boom, on my chart. Now I go, for me, I do, because I like to do little small trades on this, sometimes 20, 30 points, depending on what it is. 5 minute, go on the 5 minute, and then I go into the settings of the oscillator matrix. I scroll down to the bottom, and I click bearish and bullish divergence. And then I hit OK. Then I go here, and then I say add alert to oscillator matrix. This is on the 5 minute. And then I just hit create because it's already in the alert function call, create. And then I go to 15 minute. I hit here, add alert, create. Then I go to the 1 hour, add alert, create, and that's it. Sometimes I'll do the 4 hour, but it just depends. Yeah, big picture. Yes, sir. Pretty much. All right. But yeah, Ethereum, it already broke its slope. I would say your odds right now, 2418 would be pretty high. 2400 would be pretty high. I would say let's go for that right now. But I mean, like we said already, that the 4 hour and the daily structure looks very bearish based on it breaking at a very aggressive rate, this higher low, and almost fully retesting the previous higher low. So we'll see if we can get that now retrace after this current pullback that it had, like that. Yeah. So not bad, but I will say the oscillator is printing another higher low, which is quite interesting actually after a broke structure there. Yeah, not too bad, but we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, this was this morning. The idea for NQ idea this morning. Again, I know we said we'll go over crypto most of the day, but IQ idea, or the idea around the NQ, it created a swing off the high volume node, and we were below VWAP. I wanted to see how it traded on VWAP. It traded through VWAP quite a bit today for the NQ. Traded through VWAP, but again, nonetheless, it couldn't make a full breakout and hold above VWAP. So pretty much played out exactly what we were looking for, because we couldn't get through kind of this 20,200, which I would have wanted for a actual upside move. I sadly couldn't get a trade. I didn't get a trade on that because it just didn't look good. None of the price action looked good. Bitcoin, though, if we go back to it, right now, yeah, it's coming down, isn't it? I had another. Wow. Dang. Double down on the gap divergence. Wow. There's another one. Fully extended. Here's your gap. That was the same. That was the gap divergence we had last night for a trade. That I called out on the. There's your second gap. This time was actually a better one because you're in bearish money flow. It's a good sign. Mega extended into the reversal zone. That triggered on this candle. Which one did it trigger on? Is it this one? That triggered on this one. Yeah, this candle triggered. You can see the line there. So you would have had, let's do 100 Bitcoins. So your risk there would have been 50K, broski. Let's see. Got our gap. Let me just type in gap here. Sorry, gap divergence. So let's look at potential. Your risk there would have been like 0.79%. So you know me. I like to go for a 1-to-1 ratio for the first take profit, which has been about here. But actually, no, I'm not gonna do that because I think it hit pretty quickly, right? 1-to-1 ratio, first take profit here on Bitcoin. That thing drilled in, what was this? Gosh. That thing hit the 1-to-1 in about an hour. Crazy. So 1-to-1 been out of half, so that would have been like a 50. You buy back 50. Bah. Where's it at now? And then again, would it? No, it wouldn't have. So remember, once we're out at 1-to-1, go to break even and let the rest ride, baby. Let the rest ride. It's still going. 100% win rate. Just kidding. Hold on. Dang. This would have been. I mean, this literally though would have been the full take profit. So if I ever see, if you ever see an order block at the downside, either target that, you target that first, and then you could target the reversal zone would be your next target. But if there's an order block in the way, always target the order block. I mean, look at the difference here. So that overall on that move was another 2.5 to 1. That was a $1,200 move, though. Way bigger move. Risk was a little greater. So that's one of those things where, again, you also kind of have a morning star reversal or evening star reversal in a way at that high. But another thing here, look at this order block, 45%. That's why I would have taken profit at the order block, right? Because what happened? This thing bounced directly off of that. Had a mega wick there off the lows. It ran $600 off that low or more. Crazy. Would you wait to see for Sydney to start trading? Nah, I'm not going to wait for a session for price to continue. I mean, you can if you want. I mean, that's another way to confluence a trade for sure. You're considering long on Solana. Need your extra opinion. Long with leverage? That's the question. So, if you're long on Solana, I don't even know. It depends what time frame too, by the way. I would have been long off 136.50. What time frame? Like, how long do you want to hold this trade? What's your risk? I don't even know what your risk is. 1 hour. I wouldn't yet. I would not do that yet. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. First off, still on this nice little slope here. What the problem is that first it literally just ran these highs to just then make another massive liquidity there. So you got a lot of liquid there. So it ran those highs here after it tagged reverse zone and sold off. Ran those highs. Well, had a higher low on the oscillator here. Right? Had a higher low. Your odds are not very good right now to the upside. Had a higher low right there. Broke that higher low, right? And now it's rejecting that exact higher low on the oscillator right there. Bam. Right? So it's rejecting that. So if I were to actually want to get a long on Solana, I would want it to come back down. I would want it to come down to probably 44 and then show me what it's going to do off this breaker. Obviously just a previous high. I'd want to see what it does down here at 44. Volume is up high. That's good. It just broke that low, though. Solana's money, man. Yo, Dennis, what's up? 1 to 2 days. Yeah, you're going to want to wait, man. This thing rallied higher first. So on the 1 hour, watch for 137 again. If you want to take a long. Maybe off 137 again. It's going to have to show some confluence. I don't know what that is. WULF. What is that? Yeah, you're going to want... I'm going to want more downside. And then you go. 15-minute has it all down here. That volume's all down there. I'd be targeting that node right now if it breaks through this one. Here you go again, guys. Look at this. 42%. Look at that bounce. And reversal zone as well. Major lower wick, right? Major wick. Yeah, I'd be targeting right now 143-ish on the downside. You could potentially trade the downside if you wanted. But, yeah, if it closes like this, you could probably trade the downside. I think it would at least retest 145. But I don't know. I wouldn't look for long. It's screaming bearish to me right now. Very bearish. Well, yeah, I've been up since like 6:30. I'm so tired. All right, and I went to bed at like midnight. What is this? Oh, it's a stock. Nice. I appreciate you giving me a stock. Yeah, I would wait. All right, this thing today bounced off that order block. This is in no man's land a bit. I don't know what this one is. I have to do a little bit of research. We look at the daily here. This is concerning to it. Just on the outsider broke this higher low here. I would be more bearish. Lower high there. You can you could somewhat consider this a very wonky inverse or head and shoulders there. It would happen like if I put the line here, right? See how it pretty much rejected that. I would say target 350. Target 350 first here, and then maybe see some bounces. I gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for price action wise, yeah. Bitcoin though, like I said, I think we get a slight retracement before we make that next move. I mean, we got till November for the the voting to start, so we'll see how the election goes. Anybody else want to look at things? Microsoft right into its high volume. We got a little bit of time left. Tomorrow in the morning, oh yeah, ARB. Tomorrow in the morning we'll be back on looking at futures live. Trade some futures live to see we can gather some profits today. Today we were all over the place. Hold on one second. Let me see. I have it up. I'd have to log in. Hold on. We were all over the place today. Literally all over the place. Look at this. I took more trades than I wanted to. It's just one of those, where you're in one, you hit profit, and you're out of one. Like, we closed the day on 130%. Or sorry, $130 here on our top setbacks. Like, took 8 winning trades and 6 losing trades. The winning ones were much slower. 380 on the loss, 3,900 on the win. Oh man. Average winning trade, average losing trade. We were all over the map. The NQ, I think, saved us because we were trading gold as well. But all over the map. But man, oh man, we'll see where we're at. All right, ARB. Let's see here. ARB in the reversal zones. This thing, what happened? All right, ARB's been trading back and forth here at this 54 level. Golly, this thing's brutal. What is this? I've charted it before. Not even. This to me looks like a mega bear flag right now. Still, I would say your odds right now to the downside are still greater. I do like the higher low on the oscillator. My allergies are killing me. Ugh. Yeah, it's just tough, man. I'd want to see if this trend breaks. If that trend breaks, you'd probably see a nice downside, but you can see the reversal zone extended out more. You have a lot of sell imbalance up here too, so we get, you know, a nice order block break, and you got a nice breaker and an imbalance here. If it were to rally, I would be targeting 59.60 and then shorting from there. Just to me, it doesn't look too great. Weekly, I mean, the weekly here is like it's at an all-time low, which sucks. Like, I would have wanted it to hold at least the low. It'd be nice. But it's just brutal. Brutal right now. Ton looked good, didn't it? The indicator I'm using is the signals and overlays reversal zones. This is what you see when you look at, like, when you see these bands here. Those are reversal zones just on the signals and overlays. And then I use the price action concepts. That's the order blocks. And oscillator matrix, which is the oscillator, which is... We've been doing the divergences a lot. Okay. Someone said Tia. JLP. My boy Dennis. Yeah, on the Pith network. That bounced nice. Dang. Watch it over 330. Can it hold 330? This thing can hold 330 for you. You might get lucky. I wouldn't really, yeah, this is one of those I wouldn't, technical analysis is interesting on this thing. Not a lot of people would probably trading it on a TA front. Probably more so key levels. It's at a key level right now though. This is pretty key here. 330. Tia. Oh, this person asked about testing SPX. SPX on what, man? Because we mostly just look at ES futures, which is the SP 500. Dame over here calling out the Tias usually. Where's our boy Dame? Where's he been? And this thing's stuck as well. And the majority of the volume is down here because it's just a cheap. It's just cheap coin right now. Tia's been cheap for a while. You just got to hold. This level's just got to hold. I mean, it's like this thing. If this thing doesn't hold here, it's gonna be dead. This one, it looks more bearish on a technical front. Just broke structure. Nodes up here. It could rally to the node and then reject the node, but it would have to get over it. It had to get over 6.5. They banned a bunch of people, Dennis. There's a bunch that got banned. I think they updated their systems or something. I don't know what it was. Let me see. Somebody said, oh, it was Ton. Was that Ton? What's up, BTBP? How you doing, man? Man, Ton had a good rally back, but again, this thing's not looking good either. Coming lower. I'm gonna take out breaker blocks for these. Lower high for the 1 hour. Yeah, so if you ever see this stock or this one's just insane. Like the data on this is so jacked up. Like the volume on this is so jacked up that like this thing's trying to calculate divergence on that there. It's like there's not enough volume on this thing. 102K, I gotta be on the wrong one. Let's do tether. That's better. That looks better. I was about to say that did not seem right there. Okay, that was it. It was the volume. Yo, what's up, man? It was the volume. I was wondering why that was like that. What are these wicks? This is why you can't really do technical analysis on these assets. It's just like so hard. Like how easily you'd be wicked out of any trade you might be in is ridiculous. This is a buy and hold situation. Look at Bitcoin going lower. That's right, boys. That's right, baby. We told you it was going lower. This thing's, wow. This thing's actually coming down pretty good. He wants to stock ARW. Bruh. All right. Bitcoin prediction today? No, we didn't do the predictions. We have to. We're probably not going to do the giveaways for a while. I'm sorry, but unless it's like we could give away other items, we can't give away cash on stream anymore because I'm pretty sure that's either against the rules or like we would have to like do it in a different way if we were to do it. So maybe at some point. Bitcoin though, gotta follow that. Gotta follow the slope, man. It's gotta follow the slope. It's got to follow the slope. Bitcoin bearish right now. I would be bearish on Bitcoin. If this daily closes with this big of a wick, guys, I look for a candle tomorrow that looks something like this. That's what I look for. If it closes like this, there you go. We can clip it too. Right, hold on. First off, we're in this node. I'm gonna make this red. And then I'll post it on my X account tomorrow if it does this. If those of you watching right now, if we close like this tomorrow, look for something like this. Now, obviously, we could have maybe like a wick in there. All right. Look for something like that. I don't know why that's. I'll make it. Here. Let me grab the. There you go. Look for something like that tomorrow if it closes like this. Some little wiki-do close down. I'd be surprised if it didn't happen. So, if it doesn't, though, the only way to be bullish for tomorrow is if it does this. You get a closure like this. Anywhere it's above this high. So, if you get a full body close like that tomorrow, I mean, you got 3 hours left. So, you know, we could get a rally. Let's just say we get a crazy rally over 64. It'd be different. But if it closes with that big of a wick, the odds of it coming, you know, back down like we just talked about, way higher. So you'll be seeing me posting about that if it does happen. All right, before I actually cut my nose off, I think we're going to call it there, my friends. Very chill stream today. Oh, man. Chill stream today, all over the place on the U.S. markets. We'll be back tomorrow morning at a little bit around like 10:30 Eastern. So look out sometime tomorrow after that morning volatility for us to jump on stream, okay? I'll, like always, on my X account, I do post my analysis on the NQ in the mornings. I've recently been posting when there's clean gap divergence. I'll post it. And sometimes I'll say, hey, you know, there's a scenario where this has gap divergence, but it's higher risk, like we said there. So that's just something that, you know, if you're following me on X, you'll see. Like, here you go. This was our back and forth from today. We were all over the place. And Q, we were profitable on. But yeah, if you're not already, follow me on X at Indicators Work. I post analysis on there every day. Also, if you're not following the Lux Algo X account either, Make sure you do, because we will also keep you updated with everything going on in the market. Almost at that 50K, baby. Let's go. But yeah, make sure you go and check it out. I mean, look at that market today. Nvidia was green, the rest of the market was red. Boo. The Amazon kind of leading, which sucks. Been in an Amazon swing, but I still have confidence in it. But yeah, besides that, guys, make sure that you're keeping updated, because if you're not, you pretty much can potentially get extremely wicked out, or run into a problem where, especially you guys that trade leverage, potentially getting margin called. So please don't get liquidated. Stay up to date. It's as simple as hitting that follow button and putting on that bell icon, and you will know everything that's going on. Last time before we go on the week, I'm going to go ahead and just go to the end screen here. Before you go on the week, this is the news we got going on one last time. Make sure you go and favorite this if you haven't already, to stay updated. We got FOMC minutes on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. That's going to cause some volatility almost immediately when that drops. Obviously, we just got Colin speaking, so we don't have Jerome speaking. Obviously, minutes is just a data report. That day could be sideways in the morning before it gets volatile in the afternoon. We got CPI on Thursday at 8:30. And then the Tesla robo-taxi event at 10. So that could be an interesting thing going into Friday. Friday, we got PPI at 8:30. So after Wednesday and beyond, guys, after 2 p.m. on Wednesday, it could get real crazy. So enjoy your day off again tomorrow on potential volatility, because they're pretty much waiting for that data at the end of the week. Like the VIX today, or is it, wow, dang, VX, both the 22. Yeah, man, the VIX has been crazy. VIX has been crazy. That's really high. So yeah, you got to be safe out there. Please be safe. So I appreciate you guys tuning in like always. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning we'll be going over some U.S. charts and potentially taking some trades. So I'll keep you updated. Guys, again, I'll see you on the interwebs. Have a great day. Peace.